Bang, bang. What is going on, guys? We are back for the NFL. We're getting close to the end, unfortunately, but we still have a couple weekends left. So we're going to make the most of it, try to make the most money. If you haven't, please like us on Facebook and Twitter, the DFS Dads, and here on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. We've got Price, our other NFL guru, with us. Chris is out.
What up?
Yeah, Chris
Little
is
baby.
out. Yeah, with the baby. So I mean, I guess first things first, Price. There's not a ton of games here. What are your first thoughts on this weekend?
I mean, it's kind of an exciting weekend. So it's much better football teams that are matched up against each other. But I think this is even more difficult than last week as far as a fantasy perspective. Just because I know Buffalo and Baltimore are supposed to have, I believe, a lot of snow. So that kind of negates Lamar Jackson's mobility. You got Rodgers facing that crazy Rams defense. You got Breeze facing the vaunted Tampa defense that he did well against twice, but now it's the third time. And I think statistically or historically, teams playing someone for the third time never do that well. You got Mahomes, who's the highest price for a reason. I mean, Big Ben just threw for 500 yards, so you got there. It's just there's some tough matchups, and they priced it accordingly to where it's really kind of tough to like do a full team stack if you like the elite talent in this.
Yeah, I think the Cleveland one's interesting. A lot of people in fantasy, just casual type players don't pay attention to defense of players per se. And so, you had a lot of the secondary out for Cleveland because of the COVID and all that stuff, which a lot of people, I mean, obviously you watch the game, they talked about it, but going into it, something we hit on. We ended up playing Big Ben, Juju, and Deontay, and it paid off for us. So I can see a lot of people going back just because, okay, Big Ben threw for 500 yards, and is that the smartest thing? I mean, the Browns aren't that bad defensively, but it is Mahomes, right? So it's kind of like one of those deals. So as we get into it, obviously we'll figure out, what we think the best matchup is on paper, because you have elite quarterbacks in pretty much every game except for the Rams.
I mean, you do have Baker Mayfield.
Hey, what did I say? He's viable.
And you know what the best part is?
What's that?
You can't mess up who is and is not on the slate because there's only 4 games.
This is true. I mean, I can try. I can definitely try. But yes, you are right. I've been known to go off slate at times. But any chance you're touching golf this week?
No, not even if we did MME. So part of me wants to, because we've talked about it before where on the road he balls out and they're on the road in Green Bay. So it's going to be cold. It's like 30 degrees, but it's supposed to be sunny. So it'll be nice weather for them to play in. The problem is, I don't know how Kupp looked like he tore his ACL last week. I don't know how he's playing, but it was non-contact, just kind of casually walking, and you see him like tweak his knee, had to be carried off the field. So Goff just coming off thumb surgery, 3 weeks ago, and now gets to play in the freezing cold. I feel like one hit on his thumb and he's done.
I mean, I feel like Mike Evans is another one. A couple weeks ago, you're like, oh man, he's done. Like, tore his knee up, and he's right back out there playing again. So you never know with these guys. I mean, they have the best training staffs in the world, and somehow they're able to play when you don't think they would be able to. But obviously, lots of great games. Let's just go quickly. We'll go game by game again, kind of like we did last week. Who we like, who we don't like, and kind of go from there. So I guess the first one that we'll start with, let's do Green Bay versus Rams, since we were talking about it. I mean, obviously, the first thing that jumps off is MVP winner probably is Rodgers. going up against what has been one of the best defenses all year. They have a great secondary. They get after the quarterback, and it's kind of like what aspect of this game are you going to attack if you're going to attack it at all? Who do you like? What do you like about it?
I like Cam Akers and the Rams defense, and that's about it. Maybe
Going against
Robert
the
Woods.
MVP?
No. So this is the lowest game or the lowest total for all 4 games. I mean, the Rams defense is legit. Their defensive line is amazing. Aaron Donald, the thing that makes him stand out more than any other, pass rusher is it's typically from the edge, so you can kind of roll away from it. But Aaron Donald, once he gets through, he's right up in your face. So huge difference, that huge discomfort on quarterbacks. And you have him, and then you have Jalen Ramsey on Devontae Adams. So, I mean, I know DK scored a touchdown, which was pretty fluky, and then he got the little 10-yard slant. But I mean, Ramsey is a legit number 1 lockdown corner. Their linebackers are good. Their defensive line's great. So I don't see Aaron Jones doing much either. It's just, and then on the flip side, we don't trust Goff. We love Akers because of the volume, and where the Packers defense is susceptible is on the ground. So I feel like that, coupled with the Rams D, I don't think the Rams D will be that popular. But another key thing that is David Bakhtiari is out. He tore his ACL 2 weeks ago in practice.
Left tackle.
So I mean, he's an All-Pro, the best left tackle in the league, and he's gone. So that kind of works against them, and I feel like the Rams' defensive level, the talent, is going to come through, and it should kind of stifle the Packers on offense.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. Kind of don't. I hate doubting Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I mean, Devontae's been on another level. You really figure at this point in the playoffs, if you're the Rams, you bracket Adams and make them go somewhere else. MBS, Tanyan, who's the other guy? Lazard out there.
Lazard's hurt. He hurt his core again, which he had surgery on earlier in the year.
Yeah. So I mean, personally, if I'm going to take a piece of this offense, I just think there's better matchups out there as far as quarterback play, like you said. We know the Rams. I mean, not the Rams. The Bucks gave they gave Aaron Rodgers his worst game of the year. I mean, he was terrible that game, and their secondary isn't super, but they have a very good front seven. So I can see the Rams giving them a problem, but I like Tanya maybe. At tight end. Rams are decent against the tight ends all year. Not the best, not the worst. But I can see Tanyan as being, a safety valve, especially if they're bracketing Adams or
he has by far the best matchup. If you look at the cornerback matchups, it makes no sense not to double Adams, bracket them and even have 3 people on them. MVS has the worst matchup on the slate for receivers.
Yeah.
And Lazard's not that far behind him. So it makes a ton of sense to make someone like Tanyan beat you. And so that'd be, I think, a sneaky route to attack them.
And then, on the flip side, I like Akers. He was one of the guys we were high on last week. We actually got a lot of feedback, if you will, in our Slack about it, because he just come off of, 20 carry, 39-yard performance. But when the guy is getting that kind of volume, he is a good runner. Depending on the defensive matchup, we just knew that with that kind of volume, the pass catching ability, that had a good chance to bust value, especially on a slate where you have some big hitters, Derrick Henry and Kamara and those. So he obviously paid off for us pretty well. We're on him again. Green Bay weakness on defense is the run game, so it makes sense that we would go there. Any other thoughts before we move on to the next game?
That's about it. I think this is a good game to target in 20 max builds, GPP builds, but for cash or single entry, I don't think there's very many pieces to touch in this game.
Yeah, I can agree with that sentiment. All right, let's move on to the next one. Former MVP and one of the best comeback players, if you will, not necessarily comeback, but improvement. The Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. Buffalo Bills, obviously in the playoffs, breaking some streaks, and then you got Lamar winning his first playoff game. So got two young quarterbacks here looking to, make a name for themselves beyond, some individual accolades. So what do you like here in this game? I know you said there's a lot of snow,
So that's what they were forecasting for. I have to keep an eye on it because I feel like if that does happen, that does dramatically decrease Lamar's value because the ability to make quick cuts in the snow will not be there. Now, if it's normal weather, Lamar Jackson's I would say I guess he's a good play. We've been over on this all year. The dude throws for 150 yards a week. And if he doesn't break off a long touchdown run, he's not ever going to hit value. On the flip side, we've loved Josh Allen all year. He's been a beast who throws for like 300 plus on the regular, and he rushes for 30 yards every week. So this would be a fun game to stack as long as it's not snowing. Then you move over to the running backs where, Ingram was inactive. So it's Dobbins and Gus Edwards. I believe Dobbins came in as the highest owned running back on the 2-day slate last week, which is insane to me. Everybody was on this dude.
And he performed.
And I believe because they're playing Buffalo, who is not good against the run, he's going to be very high owned again. But I would rather drop down and play Devin Singletary. I know he's not the best running back in the world, but like we talked about with Akers, it's all about volume and opportunity, and Moss is out. He's done for the playoffs. They just signed Devontae Freeman to their practice squad. So it's going to be the Devin Singletary show. And he's cheap. He's like 4,500. So that just using him opens up salary that you really need this week if you want to play some other like decent plays.
Yeah, I think the thing with Singletary too is he's going to get all the volume. And he's a good pass catching back. He helped me take down a showdown early in the year when he broke off that run at the end of the game. So I'm a little partial to him. But if he's getting all the carries at that price, all the catches, you gotta. It's almost a no-brainer. Now the snow thing, I might disagree with you on a little bit with Lamar. Just because, the way equipment and stuff these days, and Lamar is, yes, he's very elusive, but he's also downhill very quick. He hits it and goes. And so I could see him definitely, especially the offense here in the playoffs, if it's really snowy, just doing quarterback power a lot, the zone read and him getting, 18 carries. So I feel like if he's getting 18 carries or something crazy like that because of the weather, then he has more than enough potential to pop off. He could easily get 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns. I think it's more of a single entry at that point or MME type play just because he's not going to get there through the air. He's just, proven that he can't do it even in good weather. And so Buffalo has a decent pass defense, pretty good, and their weakness is against the run. So I could see him having a heyday there in the run game. But
wouldn't you just put 8 in the box, double Mark Andrews over the middle, and put Tre'Davious White one-on-one on Marquise and just stop that?
You say that, but if everything goes as planned, you still have Lamar Jackson one-on-one with somebody. And then the thing with stacking the box is if he gets through that box,
he's gone.
You see it all the time at the end of games, right? When they're going to run, they have everybody
like Devin Singletary.
They beat that first level and they're gone. So yes, but it's funny because we always say, how do they not stop? They know they're going to run. They still can't stop it. It's just, it's one of those things. So
I just feel like the $200 difference between the two, I would take Josh Allen 10 out of 10 times.
Even if it's snowing?
Even if it's snowing. He went to Wyoming. He don't care.
I don't know. We'll have to debate further on that.
He's got probably your favorite receiver we're going to talk about this week once you start hopping into these guys.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even talked about receivers.
Mr. Floss himself.
All right, so you go ahead with the receivers. Who do you like?
Old Diggy Diggs.
Of course.
He's in another good matchup. So the real question is, are we going to go back to John Brown?
So for those of you that aren't a member, aren't in our Slack, don't follow us, or maybe this is the first video you're watching, we had 2 zeros this weekend with receivers, John Brown and Corey Davis. And we cashed both times, even though we got zeros from those guys. So it's kind of a running joke this past weekend that we don't care about zeros because we still make money. And
he should. Yeah, he ran 40 freaking routes on Allen's 41 dropback. So no matter what, we talked about this after. He was the correct play at that price point.
The thing, and we preach this. If you're a member, process equals results, right? And he was the right play at that price point. He ran the routes. If you watch the game, he dropped. He was terrible, to be honest with you. He dropped balls. You had Josh Allen miss him on a touchdown. He got picked. He was wide open. So you can't just always look at the end result and say, oh, that was a bad play. Obviously, the end result was a bad play, but the reasoning for that play was good. So I've said it, and I'll say it again. If we dive into it and he is the correct play this week, I have no qualms about playing him back-to-back weeks, even if he got me a 0 last week. You just got to look past that. You got to put the best players out there who bring the best value, can get you the most points. So
that's about it on Hollywood Brown, obviously, for the Ravens.
I think obviously Andrews and Brown are they're 1A, 1B. They're going to be the guys that get all the targets. You'll have somebody, pop off here and there, like a Duvernay catching a long pass or a Snead or somebody like that. But as far as
I do feel like Tre'Davious will probably follow him more than he typically would.
Yeah. And then Diggs, number 1 receiver in the NFL in yards and receptions. So obviously he's a good play, and you're always going to like him. It's just diving into Beasley and Brown on that Buffalo offense.
And then Mark Andrews is probably the last piece in this game because definitely no Dawson Knox, and neither one of the defenses more than likely.
Yeah. Yep.
So that is it on this one.
The next one, probably quarterback friendly, the most quarterback friendly of the games. Maybe Cleveland, KC can battle them out for that, but Tampa Bay and New Orleans. You got old man Tom Brady versus old man Drew Brees. Battle of the 40-year-olds. Tampa Bay's been lighting it up. It seems like they're clicking. You got 3 stud receivers there. And then you even got, the Gronks. Brait was phenomenal last week. Then you got New Orleans, who got Michael Thomas back. They do a little bit of the crazy stuff with Taysom Hill. Got Kamara, Emmanuel Sanders out there. So what are you looking at in this game? Both have pretty good front sevens. Secondaries are their weaknesses. So what do you like?
I love this game. Love Mahomes. I even don't mind Baker because I feel like the Chiefs are going to.
Oh, whoa. We're talking about Tampa Bay and New Orleans, bro. What are you drinking?
Oh, my bad. I got excited. Just skipped.
I did mention that game, but we're talking about
Tampa. All right, my bad. Sorry. I thought we were skipping because I don't watch the History Channel.
There you go. What a cover for yourself.
Yeah.
So who do you like from the Tampa Bay New Orleans game?
I think I like Breeze more than Brady. Not by much. I think they're both solid plays. but I feel like Tampa's elite against the run, which is going to force them to pass a lot. The only thing I do hate about Breeze is he gets pulled out of pretty much any situation inside the 10 for Taysom Hill. So that takes away his chance to throw little dink touchdowns. Whereas I will say I'll probably change my tune if Ronald Jones is out again. Let's talk about everyone throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously Brady's been on fire his last 3 games. He's averaging 30 fantasy points.
Oh, somebody mentioned him last week. I wonder who that was.
Hey, did he outperform either of the guys we talked about? And Big Ben or Mahomes?
We're talking about single entry, and he wasn't on the same slate as Big Ben. So, yes, he did.
Okay. Now, Brady's a good play. He's in the dome. That always helps them. And he's got 3 of the best receivers on the slate on his team. So whenever you get a pick who you want to throw to between Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown, it makes life a whole lot simpler. And then, of course, Michael Thomas is a stud. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and he just got back, but I think, honestly, I think you can go either quarterback here. I think they will do equally as well. I don't think you see as much Taysom this game because of Tampa's, defensive prowess up front. Their weakness is in the secondary, and I think they try to exploit that. So, I actually like both. I think Tom Brady has a little better supporting cast as far as the receivers go. That's probably without question, especially if they're all healthy. But Drew Brees is the king of completions, so you got Michael Thomas, who's going to eat, and then you got Kamara, who is a matchup nightmare. So I think either one of them, if you want some salary relief, you can go Drew Brees. But I think Tom Brady or Drew Brees, I think they both throw for 3 touchdowns and probably over 300 yards. I don't think there's going to be a ton of run game established on either side. So that's just kind of the way I look at it. Mike Evans, it's hard to overlook him at this point. He's just been really good.
What do you think about Kamara?
I think this is a game where Kamara can get 10 plus catches.
He's 1,300 more than Chubb.
I didn't say he was going to be cheap. You just asked me about him in general. I don't necessarily want to pay that much. 79 doesn't seem expensive, but that's just because they dwindled it down for the slate. But I can really foresee him having one of those 10 to 12 catch type games where they say, hey, we're not going to try to run it at your strength. We're going to try to exploit your weakness. And, him in space is anybody's weakness. So
yeah, he's averaging 5 catches against them. He's gotten 14 targets, so 2 games already. So he gets looks when Breeze is there, at least.
Yeah, I definitely think this is a game that you can target a multiple spots in. And then along with the next game we're going to jump right into, and I'll let you.
Hold on. What about your boy Troutman?
I don't even want to talk about him, man. It wasn't my boy. I think was that my pick?
Yes. He was Tanyan week 1 when he was min price and got nothing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then we went to Troutman the next week. And then
that was me.
Tanyan popped off for 3 touchdowns.
And then the next week he had a touchdown. Crazy. All right, since you were so eager to get to this next game, I'll let you take it away.
Love it. You got Maserati Baker Mayfield going up against Pat Mahomes. It's just, it's by far the highest total. This is going to be the most popular game to pick from because literally you expect the Chiefs to beat the brakes off of the Browns. So this will be up by tons. So you want Baker Mayfield because he's 5,300 and he has the 300-yard passing upside. I mean, we talked about how expensive Chubb is, and then I don't know if Edwards-Helaire is going to play. I think he came back to practice today. So if he plays, that could be interesting. But if he doesn't, I want zero part of Le'Veon Bell ever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want any part of any other running game.
Maybe Hunt.
Well,
But even that's.
I meant the Chiefs,
Oh.
you know, just in general, because I think that they've had 100+ rushing yards twice all year, and maybe 20 touches by a running back a couple times, 2 or 3.
This would be the week where it's not recommended because there's only 2 of us on here.
Yeah.
So there's no Clyde Edwards-Helaire bias.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Chris, he loves CEH for whatever reason.
Because he went to a SEC school.
Oh, okay, that's the reason. Yeah. So if y'all don't know anything SEC, Chris likes and he knows about, so he naturally goes there. But the Chiefs that's not their identity, right? They're get their playmakers the ball in space, Kelsey, Hill, Demarcus Robinson, Sammy Watkins, and let Mahomes break down plays, get out, roll out, and hurt you that way. They try to run it some just, to keep you honest, but they really haven't been a running team all year long, and they're not going to revert to that in the playoffs. So I would just avoid the running backs. They haven't got a ton of catches either. I don't remember CEH getting a ton of catches. Let me look here.
No, he had 2 weeks where he week 2 and 3 where he caught 6 and 5 balls.
Yeah, other than that, it's been 3 and under for the most part. 3, 3, 1, 3. So not a ton, obviously.
Well, why would you throw in the ball? You have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
It's true. And then we kind of downplay the other guys, but they've been really good too when given the opportunities. So, yeah, I'm avoiding the running backs. Maybe on both sides, just because, you think game flow, game script. We love Chubb. We've been on Chubb all year long. He's paid off for us more often than not. But you just see this game, they get down 14 or something, and he's still going to be involved, but he's not as impactful when they're not running it, as much as they can. So, and then you got the split with Kareem Hunt. I just feel like
Hunt plays like the entire fourth quarter.
It's kind of weird.
And the problem with Chubb is so for a workhorse running back, you want like 25 plus carries, especially in the playoffs. Chubb has over 20 carries 2 times this year.
I know. And he's been really good. And that's what I harped on last couple of weeks is, he gets 16 carries a game, I think, on average.
Yep.
But he's really good. Yards per carry, everything. It's just it's like Cleveland. Give him the ball more.
For real.
But they just, for whatever reason, they don't. And he had a couple weeks where he caught a lot of passes, but just with the split, and you think of how the game goes, it's kind of hard to take him.
I think this is a week to just punt running back, personally.
I agree.
And now you get into I think the biggest decision is going to be if you roll this game between Tyreek and Kelce, because they both have amazing matchups. They're both elite. I mean, Kelsey's by far the best tight end in the league. Tyreek was just a monster in fantasy football this year with all the touchdowns he scored and his big playability. So if you had to pick between those two, who are you going to pick?
All right, on 3, we'll say who we're going to pick. 1, 2, 3. Travis Kelce. And I'll tell you why. So the Browns are terrible against tight ends. Terrible. They're like 3rd worst, I think, in the league as far as fantasy points given up. And if you're 3rd worst and you haven't faced Kelce, like he's gonna embarrass them. He's the best tight end. He almost led the league. He probably had a chance. He would have had a chance to if he'd have played.
Yeah, he definitely had a chance to lead the league in receiving as a tight end.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, a bottom tier defense against the tight end versus the best tight end, maybe one of the best offensive tight ends of all time. Yeah, hell yeah. Give me Kelsey. Maybe give me both, actually.
You might be able to.
Yeah, you go Singletary and, maybe Gus Edwards or something, Get them both in there.
Gus Edwards. You're a monster.
Ingram's out.
You're a monster.
Hey, he gets a couple rushing touchdowns here.
All right, on the Browns side, obviously Hooper's viable because he's 3,800. If you're not going to use Kelsey and you want to go cheap there, he's been great his last 3 games.
Yep.
Bringing up 4x every week.
Yep.
And now the question would be on the receivers. Landry, Higgins, or Peoples-Jones? Or
Landry.
He was the first person I said.
Oh, I didn't hear you say him. Sorry. My ears are. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think for me, it'd be between Landry, and this is coming from a cash guy, like a little safer, right? So I'm going Landry or Higgins. They're the the top 2 receivers as far as targets and that kind of thing. So I think Landry. I mean, I don't know. Landry's just been really sneaky good every now and then. You see him pop off the game here and there. Obviously, had the long touchdown against Pittsburgh. I think Higgins has a little more upside overall. So, maybe Landry in a cash game and Higgins in a single entry or something like that.
Love Higgins for GPP because I think the primary focus will be Landry besides the run game. And so that should open Higgins up to, he's their deep play guy. Yeah. But that's about it on this game.
Yeah. And I think that's it. We've already gone through all 4 of the games.
Super easy. We'll have this same kind of breakdown we did last week for this week, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'll do a game by game breakdown, kind of which players we like. And then obviously for our members, we'll give you our cash core, our single entry for the weekend, and keep the momentum going. We've been on fire in the NFL. So if you haven't subscribed, check us out, dfsdads.com. Use code Price or Dustin, get a little discount. You don't want to miss out. We got NBA full swing. We got PGA full swing. Obviously, we got the NFL for a couple more weeks. So, come check us out, have fun, and make that money.
And the most important thing, if you're still watching, remind me to play cash Saturday morning, or I will forget. It is a fact.
He likes to not play cash, even though we bang out on it. So.
All right. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Let's make some money.